Hi friends, happy Monday. Welcome back to math today. Today for math, you will need your Envisions workbook and a pencil. When you get your Envisions workbook, we'll be working on pages 103, 104, 105, and 106. And I'll remind you that when you get back. So go ahead and pause the video and grab the materials that you need. All right, welcome back, friends. Today for math, we're going to continue working on comparing numbers. Can you do that with me with your hands? Comparing numbers. When we compare numbers, that means that we're looking at numbers and we're able to tell how many objects or pictures are in each group, and then we're able to tell if there's more, less, or the same amount in each. We can also do that by looking at just the numbers, because we know that numbers aren't just something that are written on a paper. They're actually made up of groups, right? So let's take a look at our learning target for today for math. Our learning target says, I can tell, that's our action word, whether one group is less than another group. So we're really focusing on less than right now. Less than is the math words for smaller than. So I have our number line up here in order that shows us and reminds us what numbers we say in order, in sequence. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But we've been working with these numbers, so these are the numbers I'm going to leave up here to help us with our activity today. Okay, so we're going to know how to compare by saying less than as our math terms. So let's take a look at our solving chair on page 103. Our directions say that Marta put 5 stuffed animals on a shelf. So we see our shelf right here. She has some stuffed animals in her hand. She puts 5 stuffed animals on a shelf. She puts 3 teddy bears on a different shelf. Which group has fewer stuffed toys? So there's a lot that we have to think about right here. Let's start with our first direction. It says Marta puts 5 stuffed animals on a shelf. So we're going to go ahead and draw that with our pencil to show we understand that she has 5 on a shelf. Let's use circles to represent that. So on the top part, let's draw 5 circles. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's mark out those 5 to make sure we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It says she puts 3 teddy bears on a different shelf. So this is a different shelf where we're going to draw 3. Let's draw 3 triangles. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now let's mark out to make sure we have 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now our question asks us, which group has fewer stuffed toys? Okay. When they say the word fewer, that means less or the smallest amount. So our top shelf just has some stuffed animals. The bottom shelf has specifically teddy bears. So we're pretending our triangles are teddy bears. Okay. So which group has less? Is it the circles or the triangles? If you said triangles, give yourself a thumbs up. That's exactly right. We have less amount of triangles than we do circles. We know that because looking at our number line, 3 comes first. We turn 3 years old before we turn 5 years old. So we know that 3 is smaller or less than 5. Let's say that together. 3 is less than 5. Good. Now let's show it together on our fingers. Show me 3 on one hand and 5 on another. Keep them both up. Now, since we're working on less than today, we're only going to compare by saying less than. So I want you to move your group of 3 down and say 3 is less than 5. Let's do it together. Ready? 3 is less than 5. Good. Now put it back together. I want you to turn your hands facing towards each other. Remember how we've been doing dancing partners? I want you to do that with your fingers. So you have 3 on this hand, 5 on the other. Put them together. Do any of your hands have extras? Yes. Our group of 5 has 2 extras, which show us 3 is less than 5 because it's smaller. We don't have enough of this group to have a dancing partner for all fingers. Okay? A lot to think about. Great job. Go ahead and flip to page 104 for your guided practice. This guided practice is showing us how we're going to show less than. Our directions say that we're going to draw lines to match the toys from one group to the other, like we've been doing. Then we're going to mark an X on the group that has a less than the other, okay? So let's first count and mark out our bunnies in problem number 1. Ready? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's count and mark out the owls. 1, 2, 3. Now let's make our dancing partners. Remember, they have to be one from each group. We can't have dancing partners from the same group. So let's start from our bunnies. We have 1 dancing partner, 2 dancing partners, 3, but oh, this guy doesn't have any, right? So that means that our owls are less in number than our bunnies. There's a less amount. So we're going to put a big X on our owls. Now I want you to repeat after me. We're going to say 3 is less than 4. Ready? Go. 3 is less than 4. Good. Now let's count our rocking horses and our jack-o'-lantern, or jack-in-the-boxes. Ready? Horses first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. How many? 3. Now let's count our jack-in-the-boxes. Ready? 1, 2. Now we need to make dancing partners to compare. So we know that these 2 horses have dancing partners, but this one doesn't. There's 1 left over by itself. So that means that 2 is what than 3? 2 is less than 3. So we're going to put an X on it. Okay? And we see that with our number line. We see 2, well, this way. 2 comes before 3. We turn 2 years old before we turn 3 years old. So we know that 2 is smaller or less than 3. 3 is bigger. Okay? Go ahead and flip to the next page. Whoop, sorry guys. Page 105 is the assignment that you're going to post to Google Classroom. So this is what you're going to work on by yourself and post to your teacher's Google Classroom. But page 106 is what we're going to work on together. So go ahead and turn to that page now. All right. So we've been doing our calendar book and we've been talking about the weather. We see in this problem that there is rain and sun. So we're going to count first the raindrops and then our suns and see which group has less. Let's count our raindrops first. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. How many? 3. Now our suns. Ready? 1, 2. How many suns? 2. Now we want to compare to see which group has less. So let's make our dancing partners from raindrop to sun. Oh, we see that the raindrop has 1 more in its group. So what do we need to do to show which group is less? We draw an X. Good. We show there are 2 suns, which is less than 3, so we marked out the suns. Just 1 big X over the suns. Okay? Now, let's count our crayons. Let's see if we have less red or less blue. Let's count our red first. Ready? 1. Good job. Now let's count our blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we want to see which one's less. We're going to compare and make our dancing partners. Ready? We just have 1. Look how many left over in the blue group don't have partners. That means that 1 is less than 4. That's exactly right. So we're going to put an X on the red crayon to show that 1 is less than 4. And we see that on our number line. We have 1 over here and it comes before 4, which means it's smaller. It's less than. We turn 1 year old before we turn 4 years old and get bigger. Okay? Good. Let's go down to our trucks and trains. Let's count our dumpster trucks first. Ready? Count and mark out. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now let's count and mark out our trains. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now let's make dancing partners. So we're going to go from, let's go from trains to dump trucks. So I'm going to draw a line here. I'm going to draw a line here and a line here. Oh, what group has one left over? The trains. Very good. So since there's one more train than there is dump truck, which group has a less? The dump trucks. Good. So we're going to put an X on the dump trucks to show that there are less amount of those than there are trains. Okay. All right. Now, on our last problem, we have some resources we've seen before. Does anybody remember what we call this? This is a 5 frame. We know it's a 5 frame because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes inside of it. Can you touch that and say 5 frame? Good job. There are 2 5 frames. So let's count how many counters we have in our first one. We should be able to subitize that zippity quick and know that, since there are 2 not filled in, that means there are how many here? 3. But let's double check. So let's count and mark out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now our directions tell us that we need to draw counters in this 5 frame that are less in number than the amount we have in red. So that means that we need to draw a group of circles in this 5 frame that's smaller than 3. So what number can we pick? That means that we're looking at our number line, and all the numbers that come before 3 we can choose. Can we choose 3? No, because that would be the same as. So we have to choose one of these numbers, 0, 1, or 2. Let's all do the same number today since we're practicing. So let's draw 1 since that's less than 3. So draw 1 circle in your first box. And let's count and mark it out to show that, yep, there's just one of those. Let's make our dancing partner. And then we see that there are 2 left over, which means that 1 is less than 2. Or it is less than 2, but 1 is less than 3. So we'll mark out this guy down here with an X, like we've been doing. Okay, get it, got it? Good. I know it's a lot to think about, and I know you guys are showing your work in a lot of different ways, which is a great practice for your brain. So that's exactly what you're going to do on page 105 for your independent practice worksheet. Okay, so you're going to count the number of objects in each group. Make sure to mark them out so that you don't count too many or not enough. Then you're making your dancing partners, and you're going to put an X on the group that is less or smaller. Use your number line to help you. So this number line, you can pause the video right here. If you get stuck, you can use this as a resource to see, which number comes first. That's the number that is less. Okay? Keep up the great work, friends. I'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday for math.